Tuesday evening here with me. Let's just look real quick. Detroit's been an absolute smash play for running backs. Green Bay, not far behind, both almost 29 points allowed. Texans, most rushing yards allowed per game, 132 rushing yards per game. Just abysmal of a defense. Raiders, fourth most points. Panthers, fifth. Those have been steady top 5 matchups all year. You got your Jags that are awful against everything. Titans, pretty bad against everything too. Giants, Jets, and Chargers round out your top 10 for the running backs. Your bottom 10, Washington, just a surprisingly good defense all around. Chicago Bears, Browns, San Fran, Falcons, Colts, Bucks, Rams, Steelers, Saints are your bottom 10 matchups there. So let's look at what we got. We got some great running back matchups this week. This is going to be actually pretty tough to sort through. At the top here. But to me, you got your elite tier. It's these two, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook. They're just so damn good. I personally have Henry just a little higher. I think Cleveland's a little bit better of a matchup. As you see, the Jags are 6th most, whereas Cleveland 25th. So not a great matchup on paper. So you know what? Maybe I'll leave it as is. I want to make sure Cook is healthy. We did see him just kind of limp off at one point. Just looked like he was going to be done for a while. He's been doing that all the time, unfortunately. It's giving everybody heart attacks. Then you got Chubb, James Robinson, good spots for Chubb, a top 10 matchup. James Robinson, Minnesota, I don't believe is anything special. Number 17, so middle of the pack. Even in a tough matchup against the Browns, Robinson feasted last week. I would say I'm taking Sanders out of my top tier. I mean, he's played 50% of snaps last week, almost dead even with Boston. Motherfucking Scott. Are we kidding me? What is going on there in Philly? It disgusts me. It sickens me. I can't explain it. I think Eckler, who would I bump him over? Maybe Jones, because Philly's run, they pursue well, and that's how you can stop this Philly run. This awesome zone scheme is good pursuit, filling those gaps. So he makes me a little more nervous. I do like, I'm going to bump down. Oh, he hits Green Bay. So maybe that's the one reason for optimism with Miles Sanders is the Green Bay, just complete juice bomb matchup there. Montgomery gets Detroit, another smash spot. I'm going to bump Gibson up. I mean, how is he still getting ranked outside the top 12 every week? I don't understand it. Jacobs is in that great spot against the Jets, but give me Gibson over him. I would say this seems about right. What a travesty that we're ranking Alvin Kamara at running back 11 here against Atlanta, nonetheless, giving up a ton of receiving points to backs. But that's it. I mean, that's what it is. Taysom Hill has tanked this guy's value these last couple of weeks. This might even be too high, certainly too high compared to what he's done. I do think that eventually, and this could be the week that breaks, is they just decide we got to pepper this guy. Let's get Kamara, our best freaking player, involved on offense here. So I like Kamara. I'm not abandoning ship. You'd have to have some really good options to go above him. So the thing with Kareem Hunt, he lost some receiving work and the goal line work to Nick Chubb, and that's why Nick Chubb is borderline with these top 2 guys. If he's going to get the goal line and the receiving touches, there's no stopping Nick Chubb's ceiling. Whereas Kareem Hunt, that's what his value was, the money touches. Even if he was in a 40% snap share, he was getting the most valuable touches. Against Tennessee, I think the script dictates some comeback mode that should be friendly for Kareem Hunt, but I can't bank on that at all. And this is where we get into the gross running back. Give me Mostert right back into the end zone this week. Good matchup against Buffalo. Where's Buffalo on this list? I feel like they're 15th. I thought they were top 5 in terms of generosity. I guess not. I feel like Kenyon Drake should be a bit higher here. Some of these guys, how are Zeke? How are they ahead of some of these? Now, if Nyheim Hines is the only guy here, I'd have him. So yeah, you can see I'm a little down on Hunt this week. I'm not gonna force him onto the bench by any means, but I don't want to trust Zeke at all. I don't want to trust Clyde at all. I do like Gallman. Seattle's not that scary of a run D, and with Colt McCoy likely operating it, yeah, the offense as a whole takes a hit, but how big of a hit? It's not like Daniel Jones is anything special. And Gallman's been so steady, so consistent since kind of taking over that backfield. So big fan of him. We still have to wait and see, what happens with Duke and David Johnson, but I think last week was a mirage. I am not buying in on him by any means. I do like Benny Snell. If he's the lead guy, I'd probably honestly have him above Zeke. I will preface it saying last time I ranked Zeke outside my top 20, he had his one good week, which was 2 weeks ago. But that's one good week out of 5 of his last 6. Single digits, hideous. Under 5 in a few of those. I can't trust him. I cannot go to Zeke Elliott this week. Let's assume J.K. Dobbins is playing and is still the guy. Where would he be in my rankings? Great question, Wolfpack. I would say 17. I mean, last time out, 65% of the snaps, all the goal line, all the 2-minute drill. It seemed like there was a real backfield takeover, kind of like DeAndre Swift, who I really like DeAndre Swift moving forward. The firing of the shithead coach, Matt Patricia, no more shenanigans. Darrell Bell has always been a bell cow guy. I think Swift is going to get fed here down the stretch. Let's rank Myles Gaskin as if he's in, I think, a top 16 place. Cincy, a bottom 10 run D. So yeah, I'm into Myles Gaskin. This is a pretty big tier of quality RB2s. So you can see, the depth of the position's a little bit buoyed right now. You got Frank Gore getting 20 touches a week. Honestly, do we rank Frank Gore ahead of Zeke Elliott? What do we come to in this world, this day and age? Definitely lower on Clydesdale, Edwards-Helaire. Denver, in terms of run D, they've been getting pretty beat up these last few weeks. But yeah, 18th. So they went from one of these tough avoid matchups to now being middle of the pack because of how they've been getting beat up. But I have a hard time trusting Clyde. Let me know if you have Clyde questions, but it sucks how big of a first round bust that loser's been. You got Melvin Gordon and that gross offense. So I ranked Hines as if Taylor's not playing. So I'm going to remove Taylor for now. I would say Hines would drop to right around Zeke range, with Taylor being similarly ranked too, should he play. But let's take him out for now. I think Harris is significantly undervalued at 30. I know he had a dud against the Cardinals. They're actually a decent run D. Chargers are giving up the 10th most, and as I said earlier, the 5th most in their last 5 or 6 games. So I like Harris this week. And I think the plan's going to be, let's keep Herbert off the field as much as we can. Let's pound these guys. Gurley against the toughest run D. I'm going to bump up Murray, who's been just absolutely eating more carries than Kamara. I don't know what to do with this guy. He's terrifying, but it's how can you go too low on him either? I think White, if they get down, has some good receiving upside. Give him a little bit bump up over Singletary. Come on. Don't mind Akers. It seems like he's steadily taken over, still playing the lowest amount of snaps, but when he's in, he gets used. And when he's been getting used, he's been impressing. Let's bump up Bernard a little bit. He still remains the feature back here. I don't like, I like Zach Moss as a player and I like his role, but don't like a San Fran matchup, one of the tougher defenses you can get. So we'll add this tier here. We're going to move on from running backs in a second. I'll say right about here. Edmonds is nothing really more than a handcuff unless they get really down, and then he gets decently involved. Wilkins, so if we're ranking as if Taylor's out, I'd say Wilkins would be right in that range. And let me just see, is there anybody I like more than the ECR down low here. Not a whole ton, no. I'm intrigued to see what McFarland does tomorrow, though. I would say if you're still allowed to make pickups, one, check if Benny Snell's there. He's only 34% owned. Like, get Snell now. But two, if he's gone and you have trash to cut, stash McFarland. Like, this could be the opportunity this rookie needs. He led the Grand Barfield, one of my favorite analysts, stats out these guys in what's called yards created. And he's the highest all time of yards created. And it's been a very solid predictive measure. I really like Anthony McFarland should he get the opportunity that I think he deserves. Brian Hill can go suck one. What a loser. Yeah, in terms of the rest of here, there's really nothing like this is gross all down here. I think Jeff Wilson, like, he'll get a goal line look every now and again if you're desperate for a streamer. We can bump him up a little bit, but this range, you're getting pretty ugly. I think J.D. McKissic, a little undervalued, especially because of the Skins. I mean, the Washington football team, my apology. They could get beat pretty bad by Pittsburgh. So if they're down, McKissic gets significantly more involved. I'm going to rank McKissic. I'm surprised he's low. I know he had a dud last week, but he's even with Gibson taking off, he's still on the field. He catches a ton of balls. I'd put him kind of comfortably right in this like James White range is where I slide in McKissic. So I'm a little bit higher on him. And then I don't really see anybody too egregiously misranked. We'll X out of James Conner. This is just like the the garbage trash heap down here that I'll clean up later. But that's what I got. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.